What's up, everyone? It's another week of The Point. I'm your host, Ana Kasparian, and today we're going to talk about so many different topics, including cultural appropriation and whether or not it's a real problem in American society. Also, Drake's latest music video, which is creepy, but his lyrics are on point. And then later on, we're going to talk about BDSM clubs on college campuses. Is there a place for kinky behavior in a college campus? I'm going to ask our panelists, and I'm sure you're wondering who our panelists are, so let's go ahead and meet them. We have Drew Carter. He is an actor and athlete and a regular here on The Point. He said that he was feeling a little lazy today, but he is bringing his A game onto the program.
Today. I'm okay. Right? I'm okay. I always bring my A game to you.
You do.
A little slow motion this morning, but you know, a little coffee.
Yep. Raw, amped up. We also have Mélia Mills. She is an actor, writer, and comedian here in Los Angeles. She's also an all-around badass. She's been on the show before. So happy to have you back.
Happy to be back, Anna.
Alrighty, so let's get started with the first story. This one's a doozy. It's a little uncomfortable to talk about, but I think it does bring up a lot of gender issues and the justice system in Turkey. So let's talk about that. A 28-year-old woman in Turkey confessed to shooting and killing her husband, but she says she did it because he was abusive toward her. Now, she says that she has no regrets for what she's done. She is in police custody in Turkey, and she says that her 33-year-old husband forced her into prostitution on multiple occasions, even when she was pregnant, and she says that while she was delivering their daughter, he beat her up as she was in labor. Now, the way that this all went down is apparently he was going to force her to leave and go to a different city in order to prostitute her body. She refused to do it. They got into a physical altercation, and she got her hands on a gun that she was hiding from him, and then she shot and killed him 6 times. Now, she did release a statement about this. Here's what she had to say. He came home in the morning on the day of the incident. He wanted me to prepare his luggage. I asked why, and he said we would go to Antalya together and I would become a prostitute. When I opposed, he beat me. He pushed me on the bed, and the pistol under the pillow came into my mind. I grabbed it and shot him repeatedly. Then I took my daughter and left the home. Now, he made her become a prostitute while she was 7 months pregnant, and also as she was going through the perp walk, as she was in police custody, she basically gave the audience a 2 thumbs up and says that she doesn't regret anything. She says, "Will women always die? Let some men die too. I killed him for my honor." And I think that last statement is the most interesting because in a lot of Muslim countries, not necessarily Turkey, but in a lot of Muslim countries, things like honor killings do occur when a woman is raped. And what will happen is a woman will get raped, and then the family will feel that she brought dishonor to them. And then they'll go ahead and do a so-called honor killing where they will literally murder this rape victim. So I think her wording there was really interesting, but I'm curious to see what the panel thinks. I'm gonna open it up to you first, Mélia. Make your point.
I think she should have sold his butt into prostitution, first of all. But I feel like he's a lazy pimp. Like, get out and recruit some people that want to do this. Like, why are you keep trying to put it on your wife and making her do the work? I think it's ridiculous. I hate dudes when, like, they want a career change, they try to make you do the same career they're doing. It's like, why do I have to do that? And then the gun was under the pillow. Like, any abuser should know, if you're abusing somebody, you don't leave a gun under a pillow. It's like a slave master leaving like poison next to his food and then saying to a slave, "Hey, don't do anything to my food, okay?"
That's a great point. I'm curious if that was his gun or if that was her gun.
I know.
I'm a little unclear about that, but if it was his gun that he was hiding under a pillow, that was a disastrous idea.
Right, and she said she remembered that it was under there, so it made me think that it was his.
Right.
But who knows? Yeah.
Drew, what do you think? Make your point.
The piggyback on that one point with the gun, I'm kind of like, maybe she knew that like this day was going to happen. If it was her gun, she's like, "Oh, this is going to happen. I'm gonna." I wouldn't say premeditated, but like, okay, we're gonna one day after this, there's gonna be a breaking point, and I'm gonna shoot you. But he shot him 6 times, so I'm like, okay, there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of built up, which obviously should be if everything in the story is true. You know, I'm not condoning murder, but I'm like, hey, get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? You reap your benefits of what you've done. So it's kind of like the dude is not a good dude, and I'm not saying should have died for it, but should have died for it.
Right. Now, she's going to stand trial, and we'll figure out whether or not she can prove in a court of law whether or not he actually was abusive toward her. We've had stories like this in the United States where a woman will claim that she was abused, and that's the reason why she killed her husband. Look, self-defense is an important right to have, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't carry out vigilante justice, because then you're going to be serving consequences for something that you could have left to the justice system. So go to the authorities, let them know what's happening. The society in Turkey is different from the society in the United States. I think in both countries you deal with a lot of speculation and doubt when a woman says that she's been abused, but it's better to go to to the authorities and have them take care of it. So here's my question for this story, a little personal question that I'm looking for right now. Okay, in general, who do you think has it worse, men or women? This is a hot button topic. Mélia.
I think women definitely have it worse than men. I would say in America, black men have it the worst, hands down.
Well, with all the unarmed black men being shot and killed, I think that you're pretty on point about that. What about you, Drew?
Well, as a guy, women for sure. You know, I got a women panel. No. Absolutely. I mean, you can history-wise, you could just say from the beginning, it's always been. You know, I feel like women have always had, just everything, voting to just race relations to anything. It's always been somewhere gender inequality has always been a problem, and women always have it, but definitely black men as well. As a light-skinned black male, I have a problem sometimes.
Yeah,
a little less of a problem.
I'm always curious about people like Drew, though.
Yes, I do.
You're like a freaking former professional athlete,
but see,
and
honestly,
you're good-looking.
But there's still like there's still stigma, and there's still like you're still, I would say, one drop rule. You're still considered. I mean, it doesn't matter. You walk in, most people are like the black guy. They're not gonna be like, they don't know what else I mix with, but they're just like, oh, he's black for sure. So it's still kind of
that's all they see.
Subject. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could still get it, though. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure you deal with some discrimination and stuff like that.
Sure.
But, all right, well, I would argue that even if you just discount, like, equal rights and all those other things, you just put that to the side and focus on the natural being of a woman, I would say women do have it worse. I mean, we got to deal with monthly periods, and we got to deal with having babies and the pain of cooking and cleaning and having a career on top of all of that.
Right. And
taking
being
care of
weaker
everything.
physically.
Yeah, there's a lot that comes along with being a woman. But I would say that I would never switch my gender or my sex. I love being a woman. So
Yes.
it
You
is
guys
what
have
it
some
is.
advantages too, though. Let me just put that.
Oh, really? Like what?
There's a few
Like
advantages.
what?
Oh, you get doors open for you all the time.
Oh my God, you're
wow.
right. You know what? If people weren't opening doors for me, my life would be ruined. It's so true.
You guys get free dinners all the time. I'm sitting here like, man, why do guys just pay for free dinners all the time?
You know what's so funny though? Yes, you're right about that. A lot of women do get free dinners, no questions. No question about that. But I don't take advantage of that shit. You know what I mean? I'm too like 50-50, like I'm an independent woman, right? Which is cool, I like that. Let's go Dutch, I'm totally fine with it. But then sometimes I see women getting taken care of and I'm like, I don't know.
I want to get taken care of.
Or you guys do the fake reach in the purse where it's like, oh, you're getting this?
I love the fake reach in the purse.
I was going to get this too, but
next time on me.
I know your tricks.
All right, guys, well, tell us what you think. Which gender do you think has it worse, men or women? And also chime in on this story in Turkey. Do you think the woman was justified for doing what she did if her claims are true? Comment in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon. I'm not a huge fan of Kylie Jenner, and apparently Amanda Stenberg, one of the actresses in The Hunger Games, is also not a big fan, and she thinks that Kylie Jenner is a offender of racial, or I should say cultural appropriation. So what the actress had to say had to do with this picture that you're seeing right now. Kylie Jenner posted this photo on her Instagram page. She said that she woke up like this. And then she has her hair in cornrows, right? And of course, she's showing off. She likes the way she looks. There's no question about it. There's no way the Jenners or the Kardashians would ever post a picture that they're not proud of. But nonetheless, when she put that up, Amanda Stenberg said the following: when you appropriate black features and culture, but fail to use your position to help black Americans by directing attention toward your wigs instead of police brutality or racism, hashtag white girls do it better. Now, the white girls do it better hashtag was a response to another girl who used the hashtag in a serious way, basically saying that white girls with cornrows look better than black girls with cornrows. And so this started a very, very fascinating and complex discussion about cultural appropriation. What does that mean, and is Kylie Jenner guilty of doing it? Well, Kylie Jenner did respond to that comment, and she said, mad if I don't, mad if I do, go hang out with Jaden or something, referring to Jaden Smith, who she used to date, and now Amanda Stenberg went to prom with him, and that's another wrinkle to the story that we don't care about at all. But nonetheless, cultural appropriation is basically loving black culture, taking on black culture, whether it's the way they dress, the music they listen to, but not loving black people. That's what cultural appropriation is referred to. Now, given that definition, Drew, what do you think? Do you think that Kylie Jenner is guilty of cultural appropriation? Make your point.
Yes and no. I mean, definitely influenced by black culture. I don't say like not like we have it and nobody else can, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. But I've been in situations that I've been, especially in like major cities, where I'll be an exclusive club where you walk in and I might be the only black guy in there, but all the music is black music. So you look around and you're like, huh, you guys love this music, but you won't even let us in. Because I know plenty of people that work doors and front doors in clubs and stuff, and there's a percentage of how many black people they want to let in. Because all of a sudden, if people will say certain things of like, how was the club? I was like blacked out. So it's like starting now, it's turning to turn too hood or too ghetto. So you're like, okay. So I know enough where it's like, I see it from both sides, but it's not just, I mean, we could share it. So it's not a problem, but I can see where she's coming from a little bit.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think cultural appropriation, it's something that I'm definitely not as well versed in, especially when you consider other topics that I'm definitely more knowledgeable about. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that about black clubs, or clubs not allowing people come in.
It's an underlying thing. They're not going to say it out, obviously, but usually it's like, okay.
It's more implicit. Fascinating. Mélia, what do you think? Make your point.
You know, she may have woke up like this, but she wasn't born this way, as we all know. She stole a black woman's lips. She stole a black woman's ass. She's dating a rapper. She doesn't have a daddy. It's like, come on.
Damn, Mélia's going for that low blow. You gotta
steal all our stuff. I think the cornrows are really the straw that broke the camel's back.
Damn, okay, so that's really, I agree with certain points that you guys are making, but I would say that even though Kylie Jenner isn't my favorite person on the planet, I don't necessarily think that this is the best example of cultural appropriation. The reason why I say that is because, yes, she's taking on certain elements of black culture, but she's not a type of person who dislikes black culture or black people. She likes black people, and she's never said anything to speak out against them or oppress them or anything like that. Now, to argue that she should make political points about some of the persecution that black people face in America today, I think is a little ridiculous, because Kylie Jenner is 17 and she knows nothing. She's probably one of the least knowledgeable people in the media today, right? So I don't think that what Kylie Jenner did here came from a bad place. I don't think she had malintent. No. I think that cultural appropriation is an issue, and we should use better examples to show how it affects people, like Drew's example, which I thought was great.
And I think too, with like you said, like usually when I see somebody's being outspoken and they're like saying stuff, I'm like, they don't know anything. Shut up. So I'm like, okay, like she's not saying anything. She's 17. She shouldn't say anything, because if she says something, I'd be like, she don't know shit. So
she's just trying to be relevant. But we would like to see when somebody's shot or there's police brutality, also saying Black Lives Matter and things like that. Don't just take the culture and then not talk about. Don't only take the fun parts.
Side. I'm gonna say, don't take the fun side. You guys want the fun side. You don't want to see the bad side.
That's an excellent point. Well, here's the question: have you ever embraced the style of another culture at one point in your life? Real quick, 30 seconds or less. Drew, let me start with you.
I can just say I was raised pretty well, so it was kind of like I just feel like I was come from my own skin. But I love like the skater culture, so I was always like vanned out and like wearing like skater shoes and just stuff like that. But other than that, I was just kind of like, this is who I am. So.
Okay, I like that, Mélia.
I would say, what would be the point when everyone's trying to appropriate mine?
Damn, girl. That's it. You guys, I mean, I've talked about this ad nauseum at this point, but I've tried to emulate Latina culture, I guess, or Latino culture, whatever. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. Just get off my ass. Anyway, I want to know if you guys have ever done that. And also, what do you think about this whole cultural appropriation discussion? Do you think Kylie Jenner is guilty of it? I do want to hear your thoughts. So comment in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon. We all know that Drake is the best rapper of all time. And recently, he came out with a music video that's a little questionable, a little creepy, but does bring up an interesting discussion. Now, he has a single, I should say, from his latest mixtape. He didn't like to call it an album. And it's called Energy, right? Where he talks about how he's got a lot of enemies trying to drain him of his energy, right? And he parodies a bunch of huge celebrities, including Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, President Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey. And he's trying to make a point about all of these A-listers and how they have to deal with naysayers, people who oppose them, people who don't like them, people who write some pretty hideous things about them. Now, here are some examples of Drake basically taking on the appearances of many different people. There he is trying to be Barack Obama. And then you saw the Oprah one, which is the most awkward one, if you ask me. Others include O.J. Simpson and LeBron James. One line from his song is, all right, I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. By the way, you guys should check out this mixtape because I loved it. It's really good. Anyway, I thought that it was amusing. I watched it. It was a little creepy. I love the song. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think this was a smart marketing move in terms of getting people to talk about his music? Mélia.
I absolutely think it's a smart marketing move, and I think he and Justin Timberlake both love doing characters and sketches. I would love for them to have a variety show together, you know. But you know, in terms of having enemies, I mean, he's Black and Jewish. It comes with the territory, you know. Like,
you know, I've never heard anyone articulate that point as well as you just did, but it's true. I mean, Black and Jewish, two groups that have been persecuted for a very, very long time, not just in the United States, but throughout the world. Right. Yeah. Drew, what do you think? Make your point.
I think it's hilarious. I also think of Eminem. He does a lot of parodies. He used to make fun of a lot of people that would like. It was more like you'd make fun of them instead of act like them. But but it's still funny to me when I see the video. I mean, he's gonna have enemies. I mean, celebrity comes with the territory. Don't be famous then.
I feel like if you don't have enemies, then you're not really doing anything right.
If you don't like it, then stop and then quit, and you don't have to do it anymore. So.
Exactly, very true. Now, if you could be a celebrity for a day, which celebrity would you be, Mélia?
Buddha.
Buddha.
I would love to just be zenned out, peaceful, in a meditative state for an entire day.
All right, fair enough. Drew, what about you?
Hugh Hefner. Period.
Okay, all right. Someone's got that libido going. Got it. All right. I actually don't want to be any celebrity. I'm not tempted by any of it. Right. I think being a celebrity is actually pretty disastrous because you don't get any privacy, you can't live your life, you can't do what you really want to do. But if it had to be for a day and I had to choose, I think I would probably go with Kylie Jenner. Just to see what it's really like to be her, right? Because, of course, there is a lot of courage in what she did, and I'm curious to see how people react to her when she's out in public, because we only get a little bit of it. We get snippets of how people react to her.
And truthfully, we're all kind of mini celebrities in a way with all the social platforms, Periscope, Vine, you know, everything.
That's true.
So you have your fans that love you.
And you still be able to, like, he's still got his... Be a man, like, so you can still see it. You can.
You want a hybrid Hugh Hefner, Kylie Jenner.
That's true. Then I can finally see what it's like to have, different kibbles and bits down there.
There you go. See?
I can explore with. Anyway, all right, guys, tell us what you think. If you could be a celebrity for a day, who would you be? Do you agree with me that Drake is the best rapper of all time? I don't really think that, but I do really like Drake. And also, what do you think of his music video? Have you seen it? Do you think it's creepy? Do you think it's clever? Comment in the section below, share your thoughts, and we'll see you soon. There are many different types of clubs on college campuses, but what about clubs that have to do with kinky behavior? Well, USC has a BDSM club, Kinky Trojans, and of course, thanks to 50 Shades of Grey, things like this get more and more attention. Now, the campus is totally okay with students coming up with all these different types of clubs. In fact, USC is known for having over 850 different types of student-run clubs. And when it comes to the issue of BDSM, people are interested. They want to have a discussion. They want to meet with like-minded people, and maybe meeting with your peers is the best way to do it. Now, we have a quote from Hannah, who's part of the group. She hasn't given us her full name because she wants to remain somewhat anonymous, but here's what she has to say. A lot of people who find out that I'm affiliated with the club say, "You don't look like that kind of person," Hannah said. But I say, what did you expect? My experience as meeting people in the Los Angeles community is that these people are doctors and lawyers, and they're in Hollywood, and they're normal. They're not covered in tattoos and piercings and wearing leather. They're normal people. Now, the group meets 2 times a week to discuss BDSM. So far, there are about 7 to 10 students, so it's a smaller club, which doesn't surprise me. But I think it's a great idea. I think when you have a certain sexual fetish, one of the most difficult things to do is find like-minded people. And I always wonder what it's like to have a certain fetish, and then you're sleeping with someone new, and you want to let them know what that fetish is. Right? It's an awkward thing because what if they're not into it and what if they judge you? So I like that there's like a little support group for this particular fetish, and I hope there are support groups for other fetishes as well. What do you think about this, Drew? Make your point.
I think it's great. I mean, like you said, more power to you. If you express yourself sexually and you find people that are like-minded, why not? Who will hold you back? And especially people judge you and try to figure, like you said, like they think you're wearing, assless chaps and just like weird stuff, and it's like, no, maybe they're normal people, but they just like certain things, and you like what you like.
Yep. Mélia, what about you?
I don't think this club is necessary Because USC is in a bad neighborhood, so you don't even have to be in a club to get bound and beat.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. So here's the question I have for you guys. Would you be open to exploring BDSM? And if you would be open to it, are you more likely to be dominant or submissive, Drew?
Open to exploring, or do you mean exploring again?
Oh. So you have explored. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I haven't. I actually haven't. But I think I would be more of a dominant guy. I think so. I'm more of an alpha male. So
okay.
I have more. I don't have soft features. So I think.
I don't have soft features.
You know, I feel like most submissive men are very just like not muscular and just like very just like.
Oh, you're
tiny.
talking about your muscles.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't have soft features either. Yeah.
Mélia, what about you?
I am dominant in my career, so I'd probably be more submissive in that, but I can flip it.
Oh, okay. Get it. I love it. I would totally be open to it, and I would definitely be submissive. There's no question. I'm too dominant in my real world life. Like, I like my intimate world to be a little more of a fantasy and a lot different from my real life. So that's just my take, okay? But share your stories with us. Maybe you're already into BDSM. Are you submissive or dominant? Comment in the section below. Tell us what you guys think, and we'll see you soon. They don't mess around when it comes to television programming in Japan. In fact, the latest game show in Japan basically requires a handjob competition. In fact, that's the name of the show, the handjob competition. It features women who jerk guys off. Take a look.
And she looks scared of it.
I'll be more.
Have you seen
my
Japanese?
legs will be shaking more. I'll be all like gripping the railing and like really just getting into it. They're not even getting into it. I'm just sit there and just.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that most of them look like they're not.
Winner.
Yeah, so
Why
there's
is
the
why
winner.
Is the chicken drop?
And why are there like kazoos and cowbells?
It's Japan, man. They do fun things in Japan.
Chicken drop thing.
They were choking the chicken. Come on.
They were choking the chicken. Thank you. Bringing some clarity to this panel, okay? I will say this. When I'm watching that, you guys are totally right. What's amazing is a lot of them don't look like they're enjoying it, but I think it's symbolic and indicative of like Japanese porn, right?
Sure,
have you guys ever
sure.
seen Japanese porn?
Yes.
The women look like they're fucking hating it, right? Like, like they just want it to end.
For sure. But I just, the guy, you said the facial expression.
Yeah, look at her.
She's like, oh no, I don't like
How would that make a guy get
I
off?
think she was like really like, it's about to go in my face, so I want to cover my eyes.
You don't think these guys are actors?
I'm sure. I mean, who knows what this is? But look, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, is this real life? Is this really happening in Japan? Yes, it is. In fact, this is not the first sexually explicit game show in Japan. There's one where there's another jerking off competition game show in Japan, believe it or not, where there are guys performing karaoke as a woman is pleasuring him with her hand, right? And then he has to make sure he stays on key throughout the whole thing, even as he is brought to completion. So this is something that's not
you better hit that high note in the climax.
I know, right? I know.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not that uncommon in Japan. What do you think about that, Mélia? Make your point.
I really think that it's, I know Japan, my mom is gone and she said it's very divided and like on the public transportation, there's pictures of naked women and like how does that affect the kids? But that the young boys there are like in their 30s still living at home with their mom playing video games. And so they're trying to encourage people to be more sexual because they may start becoming extinct. But in terms of this, I feel like it's not really fair. Like a hot dog eating contest is fair, but like, you know, some guys come faster than others. Like an athlete who gets a lot of ladies, he probably wouldn't come as fast as a nerd who's never getting anybody, you know?
Well, Drew, you're a former athlete. What do you think about that? Make your point.
Well, first off, that's just the weirdest game show I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. That's all I gotta say.
That's all you gotta say? No, you're not gonna respond to Melia's claims
I'm
about
just saying,
okay.
yeah, longevity-wise, I don't know. You know, you never know. It could be sometimes depends on the women. Sometimes depends on how you feel that day, and you know, sometimes
whether or not you had some action.
You can blame it on yourself and be
right.
like, you can be like, I'm so sorry. You know, it's just it's never happens like this. I don't know, but
Right.
Oh my goodness. All right, so here's the question. What's one thing that you've done publicly that you wish you had not done? Mélia.
Well, I had an audition. Oprah was going to do a female comedian show, and so I had to do a whole bunch of characters, impersonations, and we had to leave and produce our own show and do it within 24 hours. And then if you made it through all those steps, you got to meet with the execs. So I came in to do something with the execs, and the general rule that I now know is that you're supposed to kind of do what you've already done previously because they like that. But I was like, oh, I'm going to take it up another notch. And Oprah had her school in Africa at the time, and you know, American kids are so spoiled and like, Daddy, I wanted a Beamer for my 16th birthday.
Right.
So I tried to do something with like an African kid being very appreciative of the little things they had, and I did an accent, and after I did it, the room was completely silent.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh my God, they didn't get it, and it seems like I was being offensive, and I was like kindly escorted out.
Oh my God. But you know what though? You got a good story out of it.
I did.
See?
Yeah.
It just wasn't meant to be, girl.
It wasn't.
Right,
It wasn't.
right?
The show didn't happen, so thank the Lord.
Yeah, for sure.
True. What about you?
Well, one that I wish didn't happen. I mean, okay, I wish I didn't drop a touchdown pass in a bowl game and then, like, to lose the game for the team. I've done that in college before. That's what I wish happened. But other stuff, I mean, the good stuff always usually you get caught. I mean, you know, like I had sex on the beach and stuff, got caught, but I'm glad it happened. You know, so,
You got caught?
Yeah.
And so what happened when you got caught?
Security just told us, you know, we had to go back to the hotel and stuff.
You got lucky. We just did a story on the Young Turks about a couple in Florida, I believe, that got caught having sex on a beach. And they both had to register as sex offenders. And one of them, I think one of the guys, got 2.5 years in prison. For sex on the beach.
I was in the Bahamas. It was nighttime. Like, it wasn't like out and open. Like, people could see. We were just
But even if it was out in the open and you got caught, like the idea of someone serving prison time for that is crazy. I mean, this is just a natural behavior, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we should all embrace it. I feel like I've done a lot of embarrassing things on the show that I wish I hadn't done. But one thing that just comes to the top of my head, comes is an interesting word considering the context of this entire segment. But, right? I think probably when I tripped and fell on camera as we were on break, they had the camera on the entire set and I didn't realize it. And then I tripped on a light, fell. And then I felt really happy because I thought they didn't capture it, but they did. And now it's in one of our blooper reels on the internet. It plays over and over again.
Sounds good.
And then I have a second one real quick. One time we were talking about marijuana. It was a drug-related story we were doing. And I wanted to say smoke the spliff, but I said smoke the splooge. Because at that time I wasn't well-versed in the lingo. And I was like, it's splooge, right? That's the joint, it's splooge?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I realized that means jizz. Okay, anyway, guys, but tell us what you guys think. What is one thing you did in public that you wish you hadn't done? And also, what do you think about this game show? Would you be a contestant on this game show? Would you be open to it? Comment in the section below. I love learning about you guys, and we'll see you soon. All right, well, that does it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed the program. Lots of really fun topics, lots of really great points by you guys, and I want to make sure that our fans know where to find you. So, Drew Carter, let them know.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's Drewski, 3 eyes, and see me on a couple commercials coming up, and see you again soon on here. Maybe TYT Sports, too.
Perfect.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Mélia Mills, MELIA, See you guys there.
Awesome. And I'm Ana Kasparian. You guys can check me out Monday through Friday on The Young Turks from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we do a live stream of the show, youtube.com/TheYoungTurks. In fact, I usually only do 1 hour of the show, but lately I've been doing both hours of the show because Jank is never here. So check that out. And then also check me out on Instagram at Ana Kasparian TYT, Twitter, Ana Kasparian. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please do so. We absolutely love our viewers. We love engaging with you. And next week, we will have some responses to some of the comments that you guys have for us. So go ahead and comment, share your stories. We love you guys. And remember, never be afraid to make your point. What's up, everyone? It's another week of The Point. I'm your host, Ana Kasparian, and today we're going to talk about so many different topics, including cultural appropriation and whether or not it's a real problem in American society. Also, Drake's latest music video, which is creepy, but his lyrics are on point. And then later on, we're going to talk about BDSM clubs on college campuses. Is there a place for kinky behavior in a college campus? I'm going to ask our panelists, and I'm sure you're wondering who our panelists are, so let's go ahead and meet them. We have Drew Carter. He is an actor and athlete and a regular here on The Point. He said that he was feeling a little lazy today, but he is bringing his A game onto the program. Today.
I'm okay. Right? I'm okay. I always bring my A game to you.
You did. And I would become a prostitute. When I opposed, he beat me. He pushed me on the bed, and the pistol under the pillow came into my mind. I grabbed it and shot him repeatedly. Then I took my daughter and left the home. Now, he made her become a prostitute while she was 7 months pregnant, and also, as she was going through the perp walk, as she was in police custody, she basically gave the audience a 2 thumbs up and says that she doesn't regret anything. She says, "Will women always die? Let some men die too. I killed him for my honor." And I think that last statement is the most interesting because in a lot of Muslim countries, not necessarily Turkey, but in a lot of Muslim countries, things like honor killings do occur when a woman is raped. And what will happen is a woman will get raped and then the family will feel that she brought dishonor to them. And then they'll go ahead and do a so-called honor killing where they will literally murder this rape victim. So I think her wording there was really interesting, but I'm curious to see what the panel thinks. I'm going to open it up to you first, Mélia. Make your point.
I think she should have sold his butt into prostitution, first of all. But I feel like he's a lazy pimp. Like, get out and recruit some people that want to do this. Like, why are you keep trying to put it on your wife and making her do the work? I think it's ridiculous. I hate dudes when like they...
She says that her 33-year-old husband forced her into prostitution on multiple occasions, even when she was pregnant. And she says that while she was delivering their daughter, he beat her up as she was in labor. Now, the way that this all went down is apparently he was going to force her to leave and go to a different city in order to prostitute her body. She refused to do it. They got into a physical altercation and she got her hands on a gun that she was hiding from him, and then she shot and killed him 6 times. Now, she did release a statement about this. Here's what she had to say. "He came home in the morning on the day of the incident. He wanted me to prepare his luggage. I asked why, and he said we would go to Antalya together." And you do.
A little slow motion this morning, but you know, a little coffee.
Yep. We're all amped up. We also have Mélia Mills. She is an actor, writer, and comedian here in Los Angeles. She's also an all-around badass. She's been on the show before. So happy to have you back.
Happy to be back, Anna.
All righty, so let's get started with the first story. This one's a doozy. It's a little uncomfortable to talk about, but I think it does bring up a lot of gender issues and the justice system in Turkey. So let's talk about that. A 28-year-old woman in Turkey confessed to shooting and killing her husband, but she says she did it because he was abusive toward her. Now, she says that she has no regrets for what she's done. She is in police custody in Turkey, and